This Big 12 college football preview part 2 edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast is brought to you by Underdog. Get up to a $1,000 deposit match when you sign up at underdogfantasy.com. Promo code SGPN.
I pity the fool that don't listen to SGPN. Let it ride, brother. Arrgh.
He's one of those guys who will get penetration.
Welcome everyone to the Sports Gambling Podcast. I'm Sean, second the money Green with my partner in picks, Ryan, Real Money Kramer. What's happening, Kramer?
Dog.
Oh, Sean, it's a good week to be an American.
It is good week to be an American because you're listening to a college football preview with us, Sports Gambling Podcast, and of course, Colby Dant from the College Experience, aka Pick Dundee, formerly known as the Dantabase. What's happening, Colby?
Top of the morning to you, Sean.
Top of the morning to you, indeed. Colby's got his cat burglar outfit on, Kramer, or stagehand. I don't know if you remember. I was going through some photos of our awesome March Madness party that we had at Circa for Rhythm. I was, sending a thing over to a new sponsor, like, "Hey, we had this fun party," and I came across the photo of Colby. Where they have like curtains on the cabana, and Colby's in his all black clothes. He's like
Black Nikes, black jeans, and a black.
It's like a stagehand,
sweatshirt.
and so we're like, Colby, hold on to like you're opening the curtains. It's one of those pictures that's just so fun when you're drunk, and then you look at it, you're like, "What were?"
All I know is that was in March, and a lot of that party went from day into night, and a lot of people were saying we got to go because it's cold. Dundee, not cold.
No.
Not
Yeah,
at all.
a lot of people thought stadium swim,
And I got the jewels.
jeans, and like, yeah,
I got the diamonds uncut, baby. Right?
It felt like a scene out of the
Police Academy 6.
Police
probably.
Academy
There
6.
you
That's the movie I was looking for. All right, Kramer, good
So
times.
you're going Uncut Gems.
Uncut Gems. I was thinking, what's
like Pink Panther or the Thomas Crown Affair, where you're just trying to get a fucking thing of diamonds. While
Entrapment?
they're out the dinner. There you go.
That's a great.
Ocean's 11. Although what's Ocean's 12? What's the one? Is Ocean's 11?
Kind of a basic take.
Yeah. Well, Colby's. I mean, he's a basic cat.
I like the.
Thomas Crown Affair.
No. I'm gonna Entrapment.
Oh yeah.
Who was the lady in that one?
I think the world still
Selma
talks about
Hayek?
her ass. No, that was Michael Douglas's girl.
Oh, what's her name?
Yeah.
Colby, did you bring your soundboard?
No, I didn't. Oh no, it's in the not in this room, but it's next door.
Okay.
It's watching the ball game right now.
Did you want to? Maybe next.
And I noticed you guys have been lacking in as far as direction
We got
with
some
your
great
televisions.
ones. We got. Oh well, yes. That.
What do you mean?
Yeah, it makes me wonder how much intel
Colby
you're really getting.
Put some baseball.
I
on.
walked out there and you only had baseball on.
Only one screen.
You
too.
guys had it on some TMZ bullshit before, all right? I walked out there. You guys are watching all this drama, and I wonder why Kramer sounds like a chick sometimes on those episodes.
Kramer wanted to put some soccer on. Kramer is a Vuvuzuela.
Oh, it's kind of.
I know you were trying to go air horn, but your European came through, Ryan.
Kramer did an hour on
That's
Shador Sanders speeding over here.
Yeah.
It's like, God damn, who am I listening to?
All of a sudden,
here?
he's
You should be on that show with Whoopi Goldberg in the mornings.
Yeah, Lawrence Taylor had a couple of moving violations, right? Didn't stop him from becoming a great football
Let's see if
player.
I can mention Shador's speeding violation on every college football and NFL team preview.
Stay locked in. And that'll be
Sean,
fun for a reference from 12 days ago for the audience.
Real quick update though. South Africa is in Africa, not Europe.
Okay. And
The Vuvuzelas. They were
Venezuela? Oh, that was.
They were from the South African World Cup.
Sorry, Ryan. All soccer is European.
Okay, just letting you know. You like geography. You
I
said
do.
only elevation, so I'm giving you some X and Y coordinates here.
Highest point in South Africa. Do you know?
I don't. I do have a fact about South Africa. While you learn that fact, that was
Mafadi.
That was the first place that they found
11,000 feet.
That was the first place they witnessed the great whites breaching, was off the Cape there.
Really?
Yeah. Which, by the way, some of the gnarliest seas, all the seas around Antarctica are crazy, but yeah, down there it's apparently crazy.
Well, they also have the Taita Falcon there.
Oh, what's that?
You don't know about the Taita Falcon? Just an awesome.
Is that
falcon.
one of those falcons that flies like 250 miles an hour?
And just wreck shit. But look at these falcons. The Taita Falcon.
I'm not doing this with you right now.
You don't want to do a deep dive on the Taita Falcon?
He's not passionate about the Taita Falcon.
No, he's phoning it in.
He's just trying to play the game.
He goes faster than Shedeur Sanders, though.
Well, great transition. should we hop into the truck stop conference?
Yeah.
You mentioned the birds. It made me think of Kansas, the first team we're getting into here. But let's bring up all this stuff.
And definitely a must.
Look at this art. Let me get it off the screen.
Now I see why we now I see why people watch our show.
YouTube.com/Sports Gambling Podcast. You get the lot lizards. You get the Pick Dundee Premium. Everyone's filling up. You got the Oklahoma State, Iowa State pulling into town.
How do you think not being on the logo makes fans of these teams feel? How do you think you picked a team that was winless in the conference last year?
It's an ultimate rebuilding year for Van Gundy.
My first lock.
Or Gundy.
Oh man! Someone photoshopped Gundy.
And Mike Van Gundy. Or Mike Gundy.
Put Mike Gundy's head on Stan Van Gundy's body.
Mike Gundy's hair on Stan Van Gundy's body.
That would have fixed everything.
But that is
everything for him.
That is a trucker though, right? Like if you, most likely to haul do some long haul freight. All right, we got the odds to win the Natty.
Yeah. So here's what we're talking about. You know what? I'm just gonna put this full screen again. This is very, very nice. So we're talking about Kansas State, Oklahoma State, TCU, Texas Tech, UCF, Utah, and West Virginia on the program.
It should be noted that West Virginia and UCF, there was a divorce, but they brought the bitch back.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So good on
Scott
them.
Frost back at UCF, Rich Rod back at West Virginia.
You know what's happening? These teams are realizing that you can't just hire some young, sexy new toy. It's like a girlfriend. It's like, yeah, that's fun.
Sometimes you got to settle,
but then you realize like crazy doesn't make a good sandwich. Crazy doesn't know how to prepare a nice chicken parmesan.
Crazy doesn't know how to make a good sandwich.
What? It's
no,
true.
It's true.
That is true. Can we get that on a t-shirt?
That's actually something to sell in the truck stop. Crazy don't make it. That would
be a truck stop t-shirt. Crazy don't make no sandwiches.
All right, first up, I feel like they've been an adopted team.
Well, they were I remember vividly when they upset Texas, Colby, to cash their over 1.5 wins.
Oh yeah,
you, me, Patty C going nuts
in the
that
video's out
God's
there
Eye studio. That was a lot of fun.
Well, and then we took them the next year, locked them up.
Yep.
That was easy because they went bowling. And then I think you guys should have listened to old Dundee because I took the under last year and it cashed. But
5-7, 4-5 in conference this year, pretty much. Dead in the. It seems like the midpoint is the 7.5 here.
5 of those 7 losses by a combined 18 points, including the game we were at in Tempe against Arizona State, where they were actually up majority of that game.
Well, not to mention that was if there's one case against Kansas, which by the way 7.5 plus 152 to the over, minus 188 to the under. 17-1 to win the conference, 12-1 to make the playoff, 341-1 to win the national championship. That coaching staff was so ill prepared for the sun and the heat. Do you remember we watched them just have their players sit in the sun for no good reason? There was shade on their sideline, but they still chose to sit in the sun.
You got to remember, Leipold was coaching for 20 years in Wisconsin.
One of the dumbest things,
but it was in Buffalo. They don't got that sun.
And remember, Arizona and Arizona State weren't in the Big 12 until last year.
That was insane. We watched with our eyes insane incompetence. Like, how did a trainer not go like, "Hey, coach, should we move the teams down to the shade?"
There will be no Lance Leipold slander on this show.
I'm just saying that was insane. That was really, really bad.
But the real story is they lost all those games by a close amount, and a lot of it had to do with the first like 5 games. Jalen Daniels just didn't look comfortable. He looked like a guy coming off a major injury, which he was, right?
Yeah.
And
now he's fully healthy. And a point you brought up that I probably overlooked last year when taking the over was playing all their games in Arrowhead. Now
that was much.
Now
So
they
dumb.
have the new stadium, which I think they get the legit home field, the home crowd back. And I think that's going to be huge for these games.
And how about down the stretch?
Yeah.
Down the stretch, they lose by 2 to Kansas State, which he still hasn't got, which I think he might this year because they've been very close. Then they beat Iowa State, team that played for the championship. Then they beat BYU, a team that tied to play for the championship, just didn't. Then they beat Colorado, a team that tied for the championship, but they just didn't play the championship because the 4-way tie. So they beat the best teams in the conference. They were the kryptonite. If anything, BYU and Colorado would have played for the championship had they just beaten Kansas.
No, they finished strong. Yeah. I think it was a combination of the Jalen Daniels injury, maybe getting a step ahead. But I think this year is a nice bounce back year. And not having a home field.
That's huge in college football.
It's
college
crazy.
Sports in general.
I mean, walk through the schedule real quick. I think it's a reasonable schedule for
week 0, Matt Entz and Fresno State come to town. That there's a brand new hire there, so you got to like Kansas. Despite Fresno being just a good football school over the years, just breaking in a brand new head coach and getting them week 0, I think is a good thing for Kansas. Then you got Wagner, the Seahawks, Sean, on a Friday night. I know you were talking about that
rats.
Then hey, old school Big 8 rivalry. They play at Missouri. And then they have a bye week. I mean, what a great start to the season. Cause look at the next 3 opponents. This is when conference play starts.
Yeah.
West Virginia, new coach. Cincinnati, haven't been good. UCF, new coach. I mean, you honestly, they should be 6-0 to start the season. Like if they can get the Mizzou game, which Mizzou is still decent. They lost Luther Burden. They lost their QB, but they replaced him in the portal pretty well. But I think there's a decent shot they could be 6-0, Sean.
Yeah, I mean, even and then their last game before the second bye. Oh, they get 3 byes. I didn't realize that
because they play a week 0 game.
Yeah. You're right. At Texas
you get that
Tech,
bonus week off.
So they have, I think, first 7 games they should be 6-1, maybe 5-2, and then look at the second half. It's manageable.
And like I said, they've had Kansas State on the ropes back-to-back years.
And
could this be the year?
Yeah, and they get them at home in the new stadium. What better way to break it in?
And then Oklahoma State, which is a mystery team this year, but you get them at home. Then you go to Arizona. That's like a bowl game. Maybe they learn not to stand in the sun, according to this guy right here.
Yeah, the Texas Tech.
I do think you should learn to not stand in the sun.
Then they get the bye week. Then they're at Iowa State, who they beat a year ago, and then they're home to Utah.
Yeah, so one, you don't have to play in Utah, which I think is nice. The back-to-back road spot at Lubbock after you go to Orlando, that's going to be a tough game for them. So to me, that's almost at Texas Tech is almost a guaranteed loss.
Yeah.
But other than that, maybe at Iowa State, but they're coming off a bye and they beat them last year. I don't know how many guaranteed losses you have for this Kansas team. I'm going back on the over 7.5.
Yeah, I think this time I'm going to buy in. I just think Jalen Daniels
tough schedule.
I actually think it aligns nice for them.
It's tough, but I think it breaks decently for them with the 3 byes.
I think there's a decent shot they're 6-0. And momentum then matters.
Yeah, with the softer spot. I mean,
so Missouri is not going to be a problem this year.
No, Missouri. Well, I didn't think they were. I kind of think they've been a little bit of fool's gold over the past couple of years. But Missouri can still get them. It's at Mizzou, but who do I think is a better coach? Leipold. So
yeah,
I mean, I'll take my chances.
If they can win one of those first 3 road games. I'm with you like that. That you can't drop UCF and Texas Tech.
I think they'll go and between Missouri at UCF at Texas Tech. I think they'll go 2-1.
I just say like there's a strong chance to me. Like I would be very surprised if they're not 5-1 or 6-0.
So fun trivia. Jalen Daniels has been in the college for a little bit. He was the
from Southern California.
Yeah. Originally. Do you want to take a guess at the top quarterback in the class that year?
What year was that? 19?
20.
20. Okay. Quinn Ewers.
Bryce Young was the top.
I was going to say Bryce Young. Damn it.
Okay.
Here's the crazy thing. The top pro style quarterback in that class was DJU. over CJ Stroud. Anthony Richardson was in there as a dual threat guy. Just highlighting how long he's been in college.
Yeah.
All of these guys in the NFL.
And highlighting also how bad recruiting rankings are.
What is he getting NIL, Colby? He's probably getting $1 million at least, right?
I would think so. I mean,
stay in Kansas?
yeah. I mean, well, first, I mean, he did have a kind of a bad year last year. Now it caught on late. He got back to his game that we knew him to be.
Yeah.
Late in the season.
No, he started off looking
Yeah.
like shit.
Yeah. No, he just his
But
throws looked off.
I'm gonna write it off to injury.
Yeah.
Kramer, what are you doing?
He has deals with Amazon Prime, EA Sports, a local pizza establishment called Minsky's.
Oh, Minsky never had Minsky.
Oh, you can't beat the breadsticks at Minsky's.
Dear God, did I just find a fun website? He ladies' night out with Kansas football.
Ooh,
Interesting.
That's been happening for a long time.
Know when to
That's John Riggins by ladies' night out at Kansas back in the '60s.
Meritrust Credit Union. So yeah, he's got some deals. I love that we can look these deals up.
That is fun.
These are actually
If I'm being serious though, I actually think this is one of the better Big 12 schedules within the conference.
I specifically like how it starts. So the idea of momentum. Obviously, Daniels has to stay healthy. Love the fact that he's a vet. Anytime you have a vet quarterback, I think now.
Well, how about just getting 3 first-year head coaches in your first 6 games?
Well, yeah, and just the idea that we live in a world in college football where you're going to have matchups between dudes starting in their first year and a dude who's literally in their 6th year of college football. Like I said, but before we even started on the part 1 episode, I mentioned it. The fact that they're actually playing at home again.
That is
blindly.
Huge.
I was going to be on the Kansas over.
And another thing is, remember they lost Andy Kotelnicki to Penn State as their OC last year. So Daniels had to find that rhythm with the new OC. He's back.
Is it fair to argue? Yeah, continuity is great. Maybe he's also a guy we talk about as a dark horse Heisman once again for the 4th straight year.
Did we take a ticket out
I feel like we do.
I've lost a lot of money on the Jalen Daniels.
As he mentioned on that NIL collective,
I've emailed bookmakers to add Jalen Daniels to the list of people I could bet on Heisman. So certainly, and maybe would it be unfair to say that Kansas has a sneaky good home edge?
I'm seeing 80-1, and that's not even without shopping around.
He's not even burnt out yet.
See, it's always around 100-1. It makes it very appealing.
All right, I'm in.
Fine.
This is the year.
Fine.
Hey, we're all on the over here at 7.5. And you know what, Brian, where we can probably get a better price is over at Circa Sportsbook. Of course, every year we sign up for Circa Survivor, Circa Millions. Highly recommend getting in those NFL contests as well. Circa Million, they're guaranteeing $6 million in the prize pool. Very simple format. Pick 5 games against the spread. Ryan and I were 53% last year. Didn't cash one of those giant checks from Derek. One of these years we're going to, Ryan.
It's going to be hanging right there.
Oh yeah. And like we said to Derek, we'll request our payout in chips only. And then Circa Survivor, 15 million this year guaranteed. And then they have the new Circa Grandissimo.
I'll go further, Sean.
Yeah.
I'll take, not only will I take it in chips, send 10K right to the craps table.
Let's go.
I'll be over there in a second.
So you get 15 million guaranteed in winnings in the Circa Survivor, 6 billion in Circa Million, and the new contest Circa Grandissimo, which is Survivor, but $100,000 entry fee.
That's not a truck stop contest.
No, but and they're guaranteeing 1.5 million. So it'll be interesting. And obviously if it goes over, best part about these contests, they don't take a cut, no rake. All the dollars they bring in, they give back out, and the millions is guaranteed. Survivor's guaranteed.
I've seen people toss around a 17.5 number. Shout out to Paulie Howard.
Oh, as far as how many
Grandissimo
entries? Yeah, I think they'll get to 20. I think they will. That would be I would set it 19.5.
37.
37.
37.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. And of course, if you are going to be getting into these contests, come hang out with us, Colby included. College Football Week 0, August 21st to the 23rd. Contest sign up weekend. Great time to come out.
Don't stand up in the sun too much, though, Sean.
Yes.
According to Professor Kramer here.
And of course, 15% off your stay, SGP 15. And when you're signing up for the contest, footballcontest.com. That is our official proxy. Promo code SGP gets you $50 off the proxy fee. So SGP 15 for 15% off Circa D or Golden Gate, and that's good anytime. But come out and say hi when we're out there for contest weekend, and footballcontest.com for our proxy promo code SGP. And of course, if you're getting down anytime, any place, mybookie.ag has you covered. Perfect time for some college football futures, NFL futures, preseason. NFL is right around the corner. Baseball for you crazy bastards out there. So many ways to win. The MyBookie money bag, the MyBookie casino. Get the 100% match up to $1,000. mybookie.ag, promo code SGPN.
We're gonna have to talk to Maddie over at Football Contest Proxy about he's got to have another hot fantasy tip. The stack your kicker with Derek Carr no longer usable now that Derek
Carr's retired,
exited the NFL. All right, let's continue on. So we talked about Kansas. Next up, we got Kansas State.
Yep.
Well, Colby, what is this logo? This is not real.
That's their logo.
Coming off an 8-4 season, always seems like they float closer to the top than the bottom in this conference. 8.5 is the win total this year, plus 100 to the over, minus 122 to the under, 6-1 to win the conference, plus 490 to make the playoff, minus 750 to miss, 120 to 1 to win the Natty.
And well, first off, how's the sun in Manhattan, Kramer?
I'm not super familiar. We've talked about this. I typically look down at those cities.
Can we get a sun ranking for each
yes.
each
no, I don't.
Days of sunshine.
No, I was just gonna say I typically look at cities like this from my airplane through a window.
You get a good read on the sun.
I mean, I'm closer to the sun than the people down on the ground.
Today they do have a heat advisory, so keep an eye out.
Sun rating.
Listen, there are parts of this country that have worse winters and summers.
That's you need one or the other.
Big bugs, humidity. I mean, we had a guest into the studio a little while back, and there was talk about how great things were, and then it was just followed up with belly aching about humidity, bugs, and all sorts of other things that come with living in a bad climate. Anyway, little Big Apple, Colby.
You know, I love this program, and it seems like much like Texas Tech, they are kind of going in right now. It seems like they lost some production, but they went out, got a bunch of guys on the O line.
Only 9 returning starters.
Yeah, they went to the portal. They bought a bunch of guys. I mean, you can see that they're trying. They think they're throwing money into a roster to make a college football playoff run. The only problem to me is Avery Johnson, who I do think obviously their biggest recruit of all time, from a ratings point of view. He's got to take that next step because he was good, but he wasn't great. And they let Will Howard go, and he won a national championship at Ohio State. So Avery Johnson's got to take that next step. I do think he's a prolific. Like, you see the skills, you see how athletic he is. He just got to put it all together. And to me, when I saw they gave up a home game to play Iowa State in Dublin, I think that's risky. And to me, the road schedule's got too many bumps.
Yeah.
They could still end up in the Big 12 championship, but I just think the under's the play. Like, you could go 8-4 because remember that Arizona game is a non-con game, right? The Army game. Watch out, Army won like 10 games, 11 games last year. So
I'm with you.
Why do any teams play Army with this?
I think they have a solid team, but just a tough situation and really high expectations. To Colby's point, like, I think they could be 8-4, 7-5, and you're still under this 8.5. So they have that opening game.
Yeah,
against Iowa State in Ireland.
Armageddon.
Then you come back and it's not a layup. North Dakota coming off that Ireland trip.
FCS playoff team a year ago. They are replacing their head coach Bubba Schwiegert.
Now that is in Manhattan, and then you play Army in Manhattan.
It's a sneaky.
Then you got to go at Tucson in September. I don't want to go to Tucson in September.
And so you're saying the
football?
Arizona game is a non-con
game,
but still it's going to be hot
affects
as
that
shit.
total there. And then they get UCF at home. Okay, you do want that on the schedule considering it's Frost in year one. But then at Baylor, a lot of people have Baylor projected to win the Big 12 or right there at the top. Same with TCU. Then you come out of that, you're at Kansas. Man, they have barely gotten by Kansas lately, so that's a tricky game in their new stadium, or their remodeled stadium.
Oh,
Then Texas
look at
Tech.
this. Texas Tech at home. Now you do get the 3 buys, but then you finish at Stillwater and at Salt Lake.
And to me, you're getting Colorado at probably the worst time. They should beat Colorado, but I'm just saying, like, Colorado is trying to figure out their identity this season.
How
They're
many
playing
wins
them
do they need?
8. They need 9 to hit this over. Yeah.
No,
I'm
I
on the
mean, I
under.
love the under.
no.
Yeah.
Where are their 9 wins? Where are their 8 wins?
I can say there's just because of the situation spot. I think they're good for at least 3 losses and then 1 just random loss, and that's being super positive. I think. Like, just look at that schedule is brutal.
You know, though, the coaching's good. The team is.
But look at the back-to-back road spot at Stillwater and then Salt Lake, and then you have Colorado at home last game of the year.
How about all the games away from Manhattan? You
No,
are
their road
taking on
schedule's
Iowa
brutal.
State and Dublin, Arizona in the desert, Baylor and Waco, Kansas at the new stadium.
6 road games here. To your point,
And that at Tucson, with the travel, considering you're in fucking Ireland, and that's the 4th game.
no, it's just after you play a triple option team too.
Yeah, I think that Arizona
mess.
game's gonna be tough.
He's been throwing a lot of shade at Army.
That's a mess. Well, I mean, I'm as
Best
someone,
offense ever
as
created.
someone who has rooted for a team that used to play a triple option team every year. You didn't look forward to that game.
It's because you would lose.
Well, I'm just saying they're not. Why they would make this schedule?
More
this.
teams should run.
You're playing one of the most physical teams in the FCS, followed by a not great football team that's going to be super physical, and you're going to come out of that game. Like, that 2-game stretch is going to cause them to be banged up, and you should not be banged up in that part of your schedule. So yeah, they got I'm going to say they go like 7 wins is their ceiling.
I'm going to say 8-4 because Kleiman's a really good coach. They did go all in on the portal.
That's fine.
I just don't. I think
It's a
the
lot of
under is
tough
more
games
likely
here.
than the over.
A lot of tough. They're going to need some bounces.
Yeah, I'm on the under. Let's go.
All right, Oklahoma State next up. I can't wait to see what logo he got for this one. Oh my goodness, this is out of control.
That's a cowpoke if I ever seen one.
Yeah. What does he do? What do you think he does when he comes home to see his wife? He's like, come take off my stirrups, honey. 5.5 wins. Okay, it's going to be a little bit of a regression loading because last year, Sean, they only won 3 and 0 in conference.
0 in
And that
conference.
was
Somehow made the
crazy.
graphic at the truck stop.
That was his first losing season
Yeah.
in like 20 years
What-
as a head coach.
Gundy really let the bottom fall out.
Well, and remember Ollie Gordon was like Heisman favorite.
Wow,
Colby, what happened to Ollie Gordon?
He shouldn't have come back.
I was on the under last year.
He
but
shouldn't have come back.
Thank you, Sean, for that assist. Yeah, I mean, look, for whatever reason, it's an interesting point in this. Mike Gundy played quarterback for Oklahoma State back in the 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He really does care. He could have went to other jobs. I remember
He's
Florida
not leaving.
came calling
He's
a
not
while
leaving.
ago, and he was just like, "No, staying in Stillwater." But at the same time, I do think you have the alums kind of want a different person, a different energy behind their head coach. So he took a big pay cut. He, to stay because
that makes me like him more.
well,
Honestly.
and get this, he basically like kicked out the entire team. People give Dion shit for when he brought in 40 transfers. Gundy brought in 43 this year. I mean, and
You think he
obscure
can handle
places, like a lot of these transfers, D2, FCS. I mean,
like this.
they went deep sea
He
diving.
was grinding.
Yeah, they really went deep sea
It's
diving.
either going to work or it doesn't. I do love their home. They might have the best home edge in the conference. Love how close the crowd is to the field there.
Special teams coach Bill Snyder's son,
Ooh,
Sean Snyder.
We like that.
Shout out to my
5.5
buddy Bill Snyder.
Is the win total. Another low end of the totem pole. One of the 3 5.5s in conference. 126 to the over, minus 154 to the under, 55-1. No faith in Gundy to win the Big 12. 35-1 to make the playoffs. 1,000-1 to win the national championship. Oh my God! Instincts always have me looking to play the overs down here before the unders. And excuse me, four teams have a 5.5 win total.
Am I crazy? I love Gundy in this spot. Because this is just back against the wall. To Colby's point, he's coming off his only losing season in 20 years. And even like when he had 7 and 6 seasons, he almost always followed it up with double-digit wins. he is a very consistent head coach and
normally,
totally resetting the roster with a ton of pressure.
So we can go 6-6.
Yes.
Normally, you like to take him when no one is counting on him. When he's the
last
preseason
year,
favorite, they normally
last year they had
yeah.
the running back Heisman Trophy, like just an incredible amount of pressure.
The schedule, you do have the Skyhawks of UT Martin. I want that pilot shot, and then at Oregon, which that does not seem very fun. Then
Tough game right there. That's probably a loss. I'll put that as a loss.
Yeah,
I'll be on Oklahoma State money line.
What's the number?
Well,
20.
It's
20
gotta
points?
it's got to be a good amount. Is that out?
I'll pull. I'm sure it's.
I bet week 2 stuff's out. Yeah.
Then they get a
early bye.
And little brother comes there, Tulsa, but they're breaking in a brand new head coach. Tulsa normally gives them fits, but I think Trey Lamb's bunch probably going to be in the middle of that reset. So I think they should at least be 2-1 in the non-con, and you need just 3 wins in conference play then in your 9-game schedule. Home to Baylor, those games are always insane. At Arizona, winnable. Yep. Home to Houston, home to Cincinnati, those games are winnable.
Yeah.
At Texas Tech, probably going to lose, but those games are always wild.
At Kansas, that's tough.
The end of the season is a little rough. Like the final 5 games, you get Texas Tech, Kansas State, Iowa State, but there is a UCF game sprinkled in there. I'll take the over. I think he's going to get to a bowl.
Yeah.
I do not see a number on that game, unfortunately.
I again, just coming off his worst record in 20 years, I believe in him as a coach and what they did with the roster. They have enough money to trot out a competent team. And looking at that schedule, it feels like there's 3 guaranteed wins on there.
Yeah, I would say there's 3 guaranteed wins. You got to find 3 more. And
very doable for Oklahoma State. Kramer, you on board as well in the over?
I want to be. I want to be on the over on all in this conference. I just kind of want to end up on the over on all the teams being disrespected. They probably have enough opportunities to win just home games to get there. I would think. Because they're also one of those teams that potentially is going to trip someone up that shouldn't trip up. And so I'll take the over. I'll be honest. This team has just as much chance as being horrendous again with the high variance, the high turnover. We have no idea if Gundy's going to be
not
able
a ton
to
of continuity. This is just a play on Gundy.
0 continuity, pretty much.
Gundy's a program guy.
But do you want continuity if your team sucked? No.
Yeah.
No. But I'm just saying we don't know that. To your point, addition by subtraction.
Doesn't it strike you that he hates the NIL era, and that's why he went to get all these FCS and D2 guys? He's like, the last time I know he was outspoken last year about this. All right, agent, stop calling me. The season's being played. You got paid. Right? It seems like he's just fucking miserable at dealing with these people.
It is interesting, but he also at the same time conceded that he might have been wrong about it.
And he gave us a bunch of his own money back to help the NIL collective.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing you like. It's kind of like betting on, telling the alumni to bet on the team and then covering the spread and giving money back. We love
guys who bet on themselves
and coaches that give their large salaries back into the pool so he can sign better players, which if I was a coach, seems like that'd be a good way to get your bonuses. So yeah, we're all right. So that's 3 for 3 so far in terms of overs on teams with win totals of 5.5 in the Big 12. Sean, if you're keeping track at home. Next up, we got TCU, which I have never seen this logo in my life.
Oh, this is the logo they used back in the Sammy Ball days, buddy. But if you look closely, I think that's actually LaDainian Tomlinson.
Oh wow, I might need to
it's
have
like a horned frog with dreadlocks. What's going on? I need to have
my eyes checked here. So you're saying that's anyway? It kind of looks more like a dinosaur than a horned frog. Yeah. Also, I've never seen a frog with legs. 6.5.
Really? You can eat frog legs.
All frogs have legs.
You ever eat frog legs?
Standing upright with legs.
It's true. They normally don't play tailback.
I have had frog legs.
In Texas, they do.
Coming off an 8-4 year, which by the way, that clip of the congressperson in Texas mocking the counselor or the chancellor at Texas about their record against TCU. Excellent. Always fun to root for the Horned Frogs. Watch them do their weird thing with their hand.
Hypnotoad.
6.5 is the total this year. -170 to the over, +138 to the under. 850 to win the conference, plus 920 to make the playoff. This is the first time we've seen the odds get bigger for the playoff. I'm not even sure how to process that.
Yeah, that makes no sense.
Minus, this was collected very fresh from the blue book, so it's not a mistake. Minus 2,000 to miss the playoff. 170 to 1 to win the national championship. Colby went deep on this logo, so I'm guessing he's into the Horned Frogs this year.
I am, but I do think they are like they were really good last year. Kind of flew under the radar. Josh Hoover's in the third year of that offense. Tennessee tried to get him when what's his name Nico went to UCLA. Tennessee tried to get Hoover. He did not exit the portal.
Wow.
And for good reason, I think, because this is year 3 with him and Briles as the OC there. Kendall Briles and the offense should be pretty damn good. And then when you add in what the defense is doing with Andy Avalos as DC, he'll be back for year 2. There's a lot of reason to think that this team could win the Big 12 championship. My only reason why I hesitate some, and I still like the over, but that schedule is brutal.
Yeah.
That schedule, specifically the road spots, they take on Chapel Bill opening.
Is that why the price for playoff is higher than? Or
because
longer than conference.
They have, according to Phil Steele, the toughest schedule in the Big 12, and they were great last year in Big 12 play, plus 56 yards per game. But to Colby's point, like this schedule is not
so well. But remember, Prime, his first game at Colorado, caught TCU, right?
upset them.
Well, the reason why is no one knew what to expect from Colorado. The same can be said for Bill Belichick in game 1 on Labor Day.
What does Jordan have planned gameplay?
Should we fire up the Instagram?
Then they get a bye week. They take on Abilene Christian. I
don't like a bye week 2, especially for a team.
I don't either. With
for
that
a team
schedule,
that finished with momentum last year, starting 3-3.
It's way too
finishing
early
9-4.
I completely agree. But I'll tell you this: the September 20th game against SMU. It's the battle for the Iron Skillet, and they have taken this rivalry off the books. TCU specifically, because I think they were pissed that SMU joined the ACC. But this is the final version of it. Remember last season, SMU ran it up on them. Sonny Dykes got kicked out of the game.
Yeah.
I think they're going to get SMU. I think they've been waiting for that one. So I'm going to take them 2-1 out the gate, but the road spots that I was talking about. So when you add in the Chapel Bill unknown game, Carolina could be terrible, could be good. Who knows? At Arizona State, that's a very hard place to win.
Friday night, don't want to play there.
At Kansas State, very hard place.
Colorado
to win.
in between, but yeah.
Then you got Baylor, who's a contender for the championship, right? Then at West Virginia, I get it.
Don't want to go there.
Year 1, but come on, that's the Halloween weekend too.
Yeah,
right?
that's good. That might be like a Super Bowl for them.
Then you come back home, you get Iowa State and Matt Campbell. Then you're going to Lavelle Edwards Stadium to take on BYU. Then you're at Houston, and then you're home to Cincinnati. I think there's enough for them to get to 7-5 or 8-4. But man, I don't love it because that schedule. That's the hardest schedule.
Problem is they have to be perfect at home because they're going to lose. They have 6 road games. They're likely to lose 5. So you can't lose
Yeah, maybe 4-2, or sorry, 2-4.
Yeah,
I don't even not in my simulations.
Yeah, I'll
But
take.
they are a good team. I don't know, man. What? So is the juice weighed one way or the other? Yeah, it's minus 170 on the over. I'll actually go under here, just because the juice is so uneven.
The juice is on the over.
Yeah, I'll go under 6.5.
I mean, the team Hoover's that's something about the Big 12 this year, guys. It's by far the best quarterback conference as far as returning production.
No, but to Kramer's point, like you can't lose a home game to hit this over, which I think is just a tough ask.
Yeah,
I'll go under.
Also, I do kind of want to take. I mean, they are. What's more likely? They destroy North Carolina week 1? Or
I like them to beat North Carolina, but I just don't know what to expect out of Carolina. I don't,
Well, I'm a little worried.
You don't have any tape to watch.
Well, we've had a lot of off-season activity.
But actually, you don't have tape to watch. You just have photos to watch of him dressed like a fucking sailor. You know what I mean? Or whatever, was a fisherman.
TCU is laying 1.5.
Mermaid photo.
So this is the Monday night game on
I like North
opening
Carolina.
weekend. North Carolina is a 1.5 point home dog.
I'm going to be on North Carolina, I think.
Yeah, Belichick's got the boys.
But it's just
ready.
the unknown. To Colby's point.
It's an NFL coaching staff. That's gonna be the handicap. All right. I will be on the under.
Ooh. Under six
Spicy.
and a half. I'm on the under. Colby on the over.
Probably not good to disagree with Colby. He's really good this time of year. He's got a lot of time to Benedict too. When
is the team preview for TCU? Of course, Colby.
We put it in a randomizer this year. So.
Is that what happens?
Yeah.
People are very confused how the teams are coming out.
But that's good. It keeps
What do
them
you mean a
refreshing.
randomizer?
It keeps them refreshing.
Who is the randomizer?
No, I use the internet. I found a thing that you plug all in.
Randomizer.org.
136. Let's see. I have it somewhere here. TCU's preview is on. It'll be in the next 10 days, actually.
Oh, so it's nice. All right. Moving along to the team. We've mentioned this team a couple of times because of the money they're spending, thanks to some investment. Texas Tech Red Raiders love this logo. We don't like this program though because of what they did to Coach Leach.
But they brought him back. They buried the hatchet, and the guy donating the money, former Leach player.
If that hatchet isn't inside the body of the person who did Coach Leach wrong, then I don't think it's been.
Bill Parcells coached at Texas Tech.
Swing your sword.
Swing your sword. Yep. Walk the plank, swing the sword. 8-4 last year. Lots of money this year. 8.5 is the win total. -115 to the over. -105 to the under. 650 is the conference price. 520 is the playoff price. -800 to miss. Interesting. Plus 13,000 to win the national championship. All the talk about the money. Oh, every time this happens, whether it was Texas A&M or you always want to fade these teams, right? Because the class does like.
Well, you just went out and bought a roster. How fast can you make it work? And also, there is the thing of just you're rich,
but
when people aren't rich, they try harder.
Well, but also too
yeah,
they are bringing back a ton of returning starters. Now we'll see how many lose their jobs. I guess to guys they're bringing in the portable. Number 2 in the experience chart over from Phil Steele.
I think there is you don't just drop the money and get good immediately, right?
Well, their quarterbacks had injury problems too, so you're asking him to stay healthy. Now the non-con is a joke. APB, Arkansas Pine Bluff, terrible. Kent State, terrible. They do get Oregon State, but it's in Lubbock. They should be 3-0 out the gate, heading into Salt Lake City for what would be a huge game then, because that's a game that both teams are favored towards the top of that conference to win it. I'll take my chances on Utah though, but I'll tell you, it is nice getting Utah before it gets cold.
Where the hell is Texas Tech, Colby?
They are in the Big 12 in Lubbock.
Yep. Thank you.
These conferences are so big, it takes you a while to scroll through and find your team.
Well, I'm being lazy and I'm just clicking on the schedule until I find some. All right. Yeah, I mean, they're also like the confidence of this schedule. Like, did they opt out any games this year? Do you know?
What do you mean opt out? Like,
like they do the late schedule swaps when they realize they're going to have a good team.
I don't think so, but they might have. I mean, I'm trying to think in my head. I don't think so though, but
because they have Oregon State on the schedule, that is always going to be seen as a slightly, better than. But it balances.
But it's not
out.
in Corvallis. It's at home.
In Lubbock. I think though, they can't lose 4 times. I think at Utah, you got to favor
Utah's
Utah.
tough, but to your point, it's in September.
Yeah, that is a nice break. At Arizona State though, I mean, first they're at Houston, at Arizona State, at Kansas State, at West Virginia. That's just some tricky road spots.
Yeah, West Virginia are coming off a bye, but it is late in the year.
And Rich Rod's offense goes a lot on timing, which it takes a while to get the timing. So by November 29th, they should have the timing.
I mean, again, I think just in general, the teams that are catching the holy crap, they spend a lot of money buzz. I'm always just going to, I think, look to fade. I believe, I could be mistaken, but I believe this win total opened at 7.5.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it's getting bet up, I'll take the under 8.
I'm going to take the under as well.
Cause they'll be, it feels like it's a boring prediction, but it does feel like they're going to be like 8-4.
Yeah.
Where I mean, what games do they lose at home?
I mean, I think Kansas could get them.
Yeah.
I think BYU could get them.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. I mean, shit. The mullet. Those games are always insane. They're always crazy games.
Well, you probably would have done pretty well if you just faded the top teams and bet on the bad teams last year.
Yeah.
So from that perspective, and the idea, there is something about the Texas Tech coming with this preseason ranking.
Yeah.
That
Putting that target on you.
It feels a little inflated, artificially. All right, next up, which by the way went on a little bit of a ride with UCF last year after foolishly giving out a KJ Jefferson Heisman ticket.
I liked it too, man. I don't understand how that. And then Gus Malzahn quit.
I want better fucking execution.
Yeah, that's
Get
Gus
a pep
Malzahn.
talk
Come on.
from Gruden.
Better fucking execution.
UCF this year. I mean, another not a great year last year. KJ Jefferson did not get it right, and they were 4-8 on the season. This year, the win total is 5.5, -122 on the over, +100 on the under, 60-1 to win the conference, 25-1 to make the playoff, 1,000-1 to make or to win the national championship. No, thank you.
This is an interesting one because a lot of players transferred out. Did Scott Frost, who was so impressive early on in his career, whether as offensive coordinator or head coach at UCF,
You loved him, and then he's just turned into a complete pumpkin.
Well, at Nebraska, and a lot of people wrote about this, like that. There's the expectations that he had. Remember when he played at Nebraska, they were the best team in the country. So like that's a tough thing to walk into with that crazy expectations to get back to that. And then there was a lot of things from an administrative point of view. Who knows what I'll be honest. I thought it was going to work out at Nebraska. That was one of the ones I felt great about, and it didn't happen. Here, it's interesting because now he's in the Big 12. They were in the AAC before when they were just way more talented than every other team because they're in Orlando. Year one, I like them bringing in Taven Jackson. I think that can work out. The backup from Indiana that played pretty well in some time, but you're just overhauling a lot. And to me,
I mean, the only time in his career where he's won more than 6 games was 2017 UCF.
Yeah, exactly. And
so, I mean, the idea that he comes in and turns around, maybe, but I don't know. I know we've been taking these overs in the 5.5, but I think this could be a long haul for him.
But the schedule's interesting here because you're asking yourself, can you get 6 wins? The non-con, he gets 3 new head coaches as all 3 of his games. Jacksonville State lost.
All right, yeah, let's look through the schedule because my instant reaction is I want to fade Scott Frost, but I guess it is baked into the number there at 5.5. So you get Jacksonville State at home,
and they lost Rich Rod. They're breaking in Charles Kelly.
These are wins. These 2 are wins.
NCAA is
new coach.
Okay.
Then you get a bye week, and then Chapel Bill comes into town.
Which, by the way, do you know what the UNC schedule looks like? After this week for UNC, they have a bye, then they play Clemson, then they have another bye. Think they're focused on anything? Yeah. Could they be looking ahead to that preparation week for Clemson?
It's interesting.
Feels like a stretch.
At K-State, Kansas at home, at Cincinnati, West Virginia at home.
Not a lot of wins. Not a lot of wins.
At Baylor, Houston at home, at Texas Tech, at Oklahoma State at home, at BYU. I don't know. I feel like I can find a lot. I feel like I can find 6 wins here pretty easily.
I took really?
Me? Yeah. I don't think you're winning at Manhattan, Kansas. I don't think you're winning at Cincinnati. I don't. How many road games do you think this team wins?
You said you can see you can find 6 wins.
Yeah,
I think this is one of
you like the over.
Oh, sorry, I meant 6 losses.
Okay, yeah.
At Provo's a loss. I don't. Yeah. What are these road games are they going to be favored at? 0, right?
Maybe Cincinnati. They could get Cincinnati.
Okay.
Right.
Honestly, I think it comes down to if
that Cincinnati game, I think.
I mean,
5 and 7 sounds like they're.
No, it's going to come down I think it's going to come down to if they got to win 2 out of 3 against UNC, West Virginia, and Houston, or something like that, or like the Oklahoma State.
Yeah,
West
they
Virginia
put it on
game.
Oklahoma State last time they came to Orlando, though. But
Colby, what are you doing?
Under. I took 3 overs on 5.5 in this conference.
This one's tricky. I'll go under 2, 5 and 7.
Kramer, do you want to know how many unders you've been on for the entire Big 12?
Of course.
Okay. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 overs, 5, 6, and we've given out let's see, 6.
Part one, I was 4-4 on the over and unders.
Oh, you were a little more balanced this year. Okay.
A little, a little skewed in this one, but you never know how
Did you have a bad season last year? I didn't check. I didn't check your tape.
I did great. Thanks for asking.
I know your Colorado takes that were just,
come on.
Yeah, some takes you get right, some takes you get wrong.
multiple years. So.
Brian,
I mean, what are you, a fucking telescope over here?
you should be
Look at a fucking star.
You should be using the power trends available over on
Great
Rhythm. Get your AI back picks and props. You can build your own model, which is super fun. I feel like my college football model did really well last year, and it's very easy to set up. You just adjust the sliders. Rhythm builds it out for you, and then every game it just spits out what your model suggests. And if you don't want to even do that, you can of course use their pre-built models. Great for picks, props, sides, totals, and everything. They do really well in some of the FCS totals. Like that is their wheelhouse. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. Get you the 7-day free trial there. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. And we're also brought to you by Underdog, underdogfantasy.com. That's where you go to sign up. Get in the best ball draft where they're making multiple. And the best ball mania, they're giving away $2 million to first place, $1 million to second place, $25 entry fee. And you don't have to set your lineups. You just draft, set it and forget it. And then again, they have a bunch of pick 'em, higher, lower for college football season long. That should be dropping shortly here in the summer. And then obviously week 0, higher, lower pick'ems right around the corner. Super fun, a way to get involved. Available in a ton of states, including California, Texas, and my favorite state of Canada. Get you a $1,000 bonus cash deposit match. Underdogfantasy.com. Promo code SGPN.
All right, moving along to the Utes.
Couple of Utes.
What is this, Colby? Are we offending someone?
No, they're called the Utes.
Okay, just making sure.
It's actually a great thing to honor Native American history. They
agree.
existed. Kramer,
I agree.
You know, I know some people like to hit Control Alt Delete. Pretend they never existed, but they did exist and they still exist.
I've actually been quite interested in a time from before the great Control Alt Delete. Maybe when the human civilization.
Don't get him, Colby. You don't know how deep you've lost. Ryan's.
If you don't know about LiDAR, we go research and come back.
He was telling me last night about LiDAR.
Not having Colby in the studio. Anytime Ryan spent talking to Colby about animals and animal rankings has just been devoted to
LiDAR.
Losing his mind in conspiracy theories
and digital horses.
Yeah.
Utah coming off a 5-7 down year.
Breaking news: Cam Rising questionable for week 1.
He retired.
No,
retired.
Questionable retirement.
You're
probably
lying.
got injured signing the retirement.
Poor guy.
What a retirement.
5-7 last year. I think maybe
bastards.
the worst year I can remember.
Well, they couldn't get anything quarterback wise.
How frustrating.
5 1-score losses, but this is one.
They had like a 5th string quarterback,
and they had no quarterback. What was it? A pig farmer? Was that
pig farmer transferred out? That was the year before.
Years ago? Okay, 7.5 this year, -160 on the over, +130 to the under.
Love Utah.
6.5 to 1 to win the conference, 520 to win the playoff. So even with Texas Tech, which is giving Texas Tech a lot of credit for I mean, Utah is a very good program typically. I'm waiting for Colby to tell me about the quarterback play. 110 to 1 to win the national championship. Colby,
this is my guy, and this is what you pay attention to. They bring in Devin Dampier from New Mexico. Remember with Bronco Mendenhall, but guess what?
Yep.
He's running the same offense because they hired the offensive coordinator Jason Beck first, so he's in the same exact offense he was in a year ago.
Love it.
Where he was responsible.
So you're telling me Utah's going to have a better
41
offense?
touchdones.
Shit!
John. He had 19 touchdowns on the ground. You want to take a long shot on a fucking Heisman?
Yeah. Seeing 60 to 1.
It's
not long enough.
Let's make sure we're writing all this stuff down.
I'm very excited to see him play and his dual threat capability. Because remember, Cam Rising, even though he was a runner early in his career, he became a lawn chair. We watched a lawn chair get born.
Yeah, he Hasselback vibes, right?
we saw the development of a lawn chair.
One of those lawn chairs that got a little metal kink in it, so it didn't quite closed the right way or open the right way.
Well, this
eventually
guy's,
you get that fat cousin comes over, sits on it, and just cracks it.
This guy is certainly not a lawn chair, and I love the schedule too.
Well,
very favorable
they
schedule.
open with a very difficult road spot week 1.
Going to the Rose Bowl.
4 of 5 offensive linemen returning. Oh, and Colby, I know you probably weren't. You maybe missed that episode, but I said I went to a soccer football, as Ryan calls it, a game
No, I call it soccer
at the Rose Bowl, and one of the I enjoyed myself. It was fun. It was a brutal game, incredibly more physical than NBA. But they had the two teams that were playing. One was from Madrid, and one was from Paris. So there, I was sitting in the Rose Bowl, hanging out with all these people speaking French, and literally the most wine and cheese crowd you could imagine at the Rose Bowl.
It makes a lot of sense.
Good event. It was a fun,
How was the charcuterie?
It was delicious.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I had some prosciutto on some soft brie cheese, and watched.
You brought a quilt, took a nap under.
Watch.
Under a tree.
PSG looked very fit. It was a 4-0 game.
There's talk of them
match?
allowing some of the pig population to be brought back.
What pig?
Yeah,
Spain. What are we talking about?
I'm talking about prosciutto.
Okay.
I mean, how do you think you fucking make prosciutto? Like South Africa and Europe all over again. Jesus. Anyway, at UCLA to start, then Cal Poly, and then at Wyoming.
That Wyoming one's a little sneaky.
That's
a little sneaky.
No, look at this. You have 3 very sneaky road spots here to open the season: at the Rose Bowl with all the wine and cheese, up in the windy confines in Laramie, and then country roads.
Yeah, Morgantown in there too.
But I want to play Rich Rod early because that offense takes timing and reps. You know what I mean? Like that, specifically that offense more than others.
Well, Utah also is going to be more physical than a Rich Rod team, I would imagine, right?
Yeah.
So that Texas Tech game, circle that. To me, that is a pivot point in the Big 12 as a conference. If Texas Tech is for real, they will beat Utah. If not, Utah will do what they do, and that is typically win more than 8 games.
Oh, I'm all over the over here. I think like I actually
easy money.
I think
schedule's a little
there's
trickier,
a shot
but
5-0. There's a shot they're 5-0 there.
Is
with
it
the
that
bye
tricky?
week.
No, that would be my only counter against it.
Wyoming's not good. I think that's the nice thing about that.
I think they'll be better this year.
But you want to play
they were
them
pretty bad.
They were really bad.
They were really bad last year. West Virginia, to your point, you're getting Rich Rod early. Texas Tech, we have no idea really how good.
I don't think Texas Tech's gonna win in Salt Lake City, but it is early. You like that if you're Texas Tech, you want to play at Salt Lake City.
UCLA is a very winnable game too.
They're going to beat UCLA.
Utah is going to have the Rose Bowl taken over.
Yeah, they're going to beat UCLA. Don't worry about that.
That's going to resemble.
The Wyoming game's a little scary because just Laramie.
All right, so
everyone loses in Laramie.
But I'm not overly optimistic. They could very easily be 4-1 here. But even if they are 3-2, then you come out.
They could be 5-0 though.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But then you come out and you have a stretch where you're definitely going 3-1 with Arizona State, Colorado, Cincinnati at home, and at
could go
BYU.
4-0 there.
And then at Baylor, Kansas State, at Kansas.
That's the tricky stretch. That's the tricky stretch to me.
But I'm already, even pessimistically, I already have you at 6 wins. And so I guess, I would need 2 there. So I see what you're saying. We need the 4-1 early.
I think the 4-1.
I'm still taking it.
I'm on the over too. I feel pretty good about it.
I feel
pretty good about it.
But if they're 3-2 into that first bye, we're a little nervous.
I thought they were actually better than BYU last year. BYU stole that. I think they can get revenge in that game. When I look, who are the first 8 opponents? I think they're better from a coach and physicality standpoint than these teams. Now, of course, you can lose at Lavelle Edwards. Of course, you can lose in Morgantown. But
now, what would be dope is if they go BYU and them go into that game undefeated.
That would be
excellent.
But I'm on the over. Like I just
I'm with you. Smash
the only way this doesn't hit is the way all the others hit when is the
you're on your
gets injured.
Fifth quarterback.
I'll say how it doesn't hit. They dropped the game after the game against BYU to Colorado. That would be highly embarrassing to the program. Last team in the Big 12. We got
look at this one.
Colby. We got the West Virginia Mountaineers Mountaineers bringing Rich Rod back. How great. The heyday, Pat White, who was the running back?
Steve
Slayton.
Yeah.
This was a team that was the
very close
bane in my existence as a Virginia Tech
and remember, Nick Saban would have never went to Alabama because Rich Rod is what they wanted. So
that's crazy.
Yeah,
that's a crazy sliding door moment. 6-6 last year, but new coach, and the number doesn't really move. It's slightly down, plus 152 to the over, minus 188 to the under.
One of the most fascinating teams.
55-1 to win the conference, 35-1 to make the playoff, 1,000-1 to win the national championship. I mean, in general, Rich Rod has been successful everywhere he's gone. In some cases, he had more success early and it kind of wore off.
Yeah.
Well,
he does seem to get off to good starts and then fumble the bag.
Well, his system is a gimmicky. It's basically a triple option like gimmicky system that I think is relatively easy to learn. Don't you? I mean,
no, but it works on like it's. I'd
timing.
say it's similar to the air raid where it's like you got to find that rhythm, and once you find that rhythm, because a half second late here or there is all the difference in that offense. But I think a lot of people. I think the win total shows. Like they're looking at his history, his first couple of years at Arizona, his first couple of years at Michigan, his first couple of years at West Virginia the first time. But that was before the transfer portal. So that's what makes this very interesting is like this could catch on a lot faster.
Look at this.
Yeah.
So 2001, first year at West Virginia, he goes 3-8.
Yeah.
First year coaching, being a head coach, 3-8.
Well, no, he was the head coach in the D2 ranks.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Division 1, first time being a coach. He then goes 9-4 the next year. Again, no transfer portal, right?
Yeah.
Michigan, he goes 3-9, 5-7, 7, so slightly get better. And then Arizona, good right away, 8-5. Jacksonville State, good right away, 9-4. So as he's become more of a veteran coach and gotten away from that pit of misery that is Michigan, I never understood why I mean, I understand why you take that job. But to me, this was one of those.
He was outspoken about this, and I give him credit for addressing this. He could have ducked it. He said, "He goes, I made a mistake leaving."
Well, to me, there's too often you see these coaches leave situations where they're God, like they're going to have a steakhouse named after them. They're going to have a car dealership.
Shula's.
Yeah, and remember, he played it. He's
from West Virginia
through and through. Yeah.
Which fortunately he's getting a second chance at it. But why they leave, like even just the idea that you left for Michigan for 3 years, whatever you got paid, if you had just stayed at West Virginia, for the last 17 years or whatever,
they'd be building a statue of you. You
and
walk around town.
Yeah, it's like you gave up some of that, and it's good that he's talking about it. Hopefully, other coaches realize it. But in year one, let's pull up the schedule.
It's a hard schedule because Ohio won the MAC last year.
You're
playing at so week one they're taking on Robert Morris.
Basketball school.
Then you're at Ohio though. Ohio won the MAC last year.
They could lose that game.
They beat Matt Campbell and Iowa State lost at Ohio in the past 2 years. Then you got the backyard brawl.
Oh God,
Jesus Christ!
And then you go
then at Kansas.
Yeah, home to Utah, at BYU.
Oh my God. For a new, obviously new to. For a first year coach with these players, three road games before a bye. Like this is the
backyard brawl smash between that
and road trips to Kansas and Utah. This is a schedule where you would love a week 3 bye,
but it gets a little sunnier right here.
I don't give a shit how sunny it gets. They have to win out.
UCF, TCU, at Houston, home to Colorado, at Arizona State, bye week, home to Texas Tech. And I will say this, Texas Tech runs the air raid. It's going to be, when I think of November 29th in Morgantown, that's a scary game for Texas Tech, I would say.
I'll give them a win there. And I still if they win all their home games, that's 6 wins. That's the path.
But that means them beating Pitt and Utah.
I know. It just
TCU.
seems so unlikely.
Yeah, I'm going under.
So even if they win Ohio, damn it, I wanted to go over on these 5.5s.
I'm gonna go over. Give me 6 and 6. He gets.
I don't. I'm not locking this up.
That was my thesis. Was that he's better coach now. He'll have them prepared and the transfer portal.
Well, I like the idea of them exceeding expectations, but you need like a favorable
They
start.
could start off 3-0 though.
But where do you? But it's going to be so tough to get any sort of momentum. Like if they were 3-3 going into the bye, you'd be like, oh my god, that's awesome.
Yeah, they're 3-3 in the bye. We're cashing the ticket.
Yeah.
But even that's going to be a huge ask.
Yeah, maybe. I kind of, you know what? I'll go over
6-6
because I do think they could come out of the bye if they have 3 wins into the bye, they can come out, win 2 games right there.
Yeah,
and then they got to win 1 out of those 4.
Yeah, and you're getting 2 at home
because you're right. That Texas Tech game, we have no idea how good that team's
Dub V's got to get him.
Well, also you got to remember. All right, so think of the teams who are visiting them this year. Utah, that's a crazy long.
I don't
trip
think I want to know if they've actually ever played in Morgantown.
I want to know.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Utah, have they ever played in Morgantown?
Yeah, then you have TCU. That's a weird long trip. Colorado has. I mean, these are all strangely long trips. And then of course Texas Tech, who by them themselves is a weird trip. So you know what? I've always liked Rich Rod as a coach. I enjoyed.
They have never played in Morgantown.
Yeah, so I mean that's a tricky little spot there.
Yeah, I just think like with the transfer portal, you can get because before you would need to get that fast guy. I feel like he knows talent pretty well, and I think he'll just be a little bit better than what we think. Now the schedule is brutal. That is a tough schedule, but
if the bye was earlier, I would be higher on this team. But
and what's that? Another 4 overs and 4 unders.
Well balanced, Kramer. All right, look, 2 locks and a future. Kramer, you're up first. What do you do?
All right. I have more things that I like more in this in this half of the conference than the other half of the conference.
I know what you mean.
Let's start with Utah.
Okay.
Although, do we make the Utah? You know what? Give me Utah as the conference winner.
Okay, it's 650.
That's the That's the better way to play that. I think future.
Okay.
I think fading Texas Tech. There's just too much. This conference is too deep and too good for them to just be given this this extra credit. 8.5 strong, and then do we just go back to the Kansas? I told you in part 1, this is like a blind play because they got a home stadium this year.
I like Kansas
over
too.
7.5.
So I like Kansas, OK State, and Utah. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take Kansas over 7.5.
Okay.
I take Utah over 7.5.
Double over.
OK State to shock the world.
Wow.
And win the Big 12, 55-1.
How many teams?
Gundy ultimate bounce back for Gundy.
What's the appropriate number of teams to bet on in the Big 12 to win the conference?
I think I'm just going to bet on 2 long shots, Colorado and.
Hold on, I think.
No, but
I think we have this in here. Let me see.
I think you could take like 4 teams that are 30 plus.
Yeah,
and kind of have some decent outs. And if all you need to do is just get lucky with the 4-team tiebreak.
It's just like, look at these odds; they're out of control.
And Kramer, I'm with you. I do like Utah, but at plus 650, I think it's way more of a dart toss. So I'm just taking a couple longer ones.
I just like
BYU's interesting too at 11-1.
Well, yeah, Utah, BYU, and I swapped out BYU, but I think like taking the 2 Utah schools. I don't think Utah is too short. Because I think Utah consistently is at the top of their.
Yeah, you're right, and they're just such a tough.
They have a great home edge, and if Colby's right about the offense,
yeah. Colby, what are you doing? 2 locks in a future.
Yeah, let's lock up the Utah over 7.5.
Okay,
that's so low.
I also want to lock up the under on. Ooh, which one do I? Let's go Texas Tech under 8.5.
Yeah.
Alrighty, and a future.
Give me those Jayhawks plus 1,700 to win.
I'll switch over the long shot slide.
Yeah, that's
long shot slide.
God, I would. Is it crazy to play? Well, there's 8 teams here.
That's what I said. What's the appropriate number of Big 12 teams?
If you play Kansas at 17-1, Houston 30-1, I wouldn't play Cincinnati. Colorado, yes.
No.
Arizona,
no.
Arizona, maybe. West Virginia, no. Okay, State.
Wait, who's the coach of Arizona?
Brent Brennan from San Jose State.
Yeah,
and then UCF.
He's a good coach.
He is a good coach.
I would say that can West Virginia do it? They don't have the dogs.
No,
I don't think that's not
your
brutal.
Does Oklahoma State have it?
They could just
They
because
have the
they're a
dogs?
complete mystery
Yeah,
team.
come on.
Their schedule breaks a little nicer.
All right, so Sean,
Look at how many times Gundy's won double-digit games.
later this week when we're in Vegas, we're picking up paper tickets for Oklahoma State,
Yep.
Houston, Kansas, and then I'm gonna probably add BYU and Utah.
Oh, I had Colorado.
So is that how many is that for me? 3, 5. Is that too many?
But
5?
it's not crazy.
5.
Obviously, you just need one of those to hit and you make money.
Wait, 5 out of are there who's missing? Oh, is there teams not on here, Colby?
No, that's all 16.
How come it says 14?
Really?
Oh, you just
There's a type.
1 through 8, and then we have 7 through 14.
Okay. Well, you even check the slides because Colby goes, I hate when there's math numbers.
I told you when you're in the game, you're supposed to check this.
When you're in the game, you're in the game.
All right. Good times as
Yeah.
always. Make sure you smash that subscribe button. Check out all our college football conference previews. Toss us a 5-star Apple Podcast, Spotify. Hit that subscribe on YouTube, and of course,
Hit that your mark. What was it? Go back to
Oh, you want me to? Sorry.
hot lizards or whatever.
Yeah,
lot lizards.
Lot lizards. Lot lizards. Wow, you didn't know what a lot lizard was?
I don't know that I heard it, but
You watch
it's a great
Forensic
term,
Files
yeah.
all the time. I've seen a couple lot lizard Forensic Files.
and toss us a subscribe, and of course, check out the college experience for all 136 FBS and some FCS team previews with Moneyline Mac. And of course, as always,
Thank you for participating in the Sports Gambling Podcast.
for Sports Gambling Podcast, I'm Sean, stacking the money green. He's Ryan
5 is an appropriate number.
Kramer. Let it ride.